Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So good to see so many people that we haven't seen in a while. I mean, some of you I've seen really recently. Like I was just thinking like, oh, Dana, I think I just saw you Monday. It's good to see you. Um, yeah, welcome, welcome in. We will kind of as per usual, just start just a couple minutes after the hour. I mean, I know it's 12:02 now, so maybe a couple more minutes. Like to just give people an opportunity to transition if they're back to back, coming in from another meeting, getting settled. Yeah, and want to invite you to get whatever you need to make yourself comfortable and take care of yourself during this time. Like if you need to go get some water or coffee or tea or stretch or whatever you're needing. Oh, thanks for letting me know, Stacy. Um, yeah, and not everyone is comfortable eating on camera, but I always want to invite you if this is like your lunchtime and you need to feed yourself, like please feel free to eat and be on camera. And also it's okay to be off. We love being able to see folks. Um, but yeah, understand everybody is like negotiating things in their own space. So whatever you need is okay. Yeah, thanks for letting us know if you've got to leave early, that's okay. Happy to have happy to have everyone here for whatever amount of time works for you. And as we're giving folks another minute or two to join, invite you if you would like to say hello in the chat. You could say your name, you can say where you work, but maybe an invitation also to share what is something that you enjoy or appreciate about summer. Even if you're like, I hate summer, is there like one thing you like water ice if you live in Philadelphia? That's or maybe something. So you can option to introduce yourself and add something you appreciate about summer. You can also just pop in one or two of those. So awesome. Sitting outside in the evening, early morning, summer concerts, baseball, sunsets, sunshine and flowers. Yeah, I'm really resonating with not having to wear a coat or boots. Every year, I try to see how long I can go before I wear a coat. Some sort of like middle school competition I have with myself or something. Early morning sunrise, morning trampolining. Awesome. Cookout, birding, gardening. Yeah, all the light, smell of cookouts and grass. Oh yeah, when you get the low humidity. I mean, I feel like we get a lot of humidity in New York State. So when we do get it, morning coffee. Mm, this is so lovely to read. Thanks, friends. I have a mentor who she would like always ask these questions that would bring up some sort of like sense of gratitude. And then she would call it rejoicement therapy. When you read everybody's like joys or things that are making them happy. And I just appreciate that. It's like, yeah, just bringing a big smile to my face. So, all right. Well, it's 12:05. Let's get started. We're going to keep welcoming friends in as they arrive. We don't have Dr. Elizabeth Meeker with us today, who usually just starts to kick us off a little bit. I'm just gonna welcome you all on her behalf and say thank you for being here. This is the Trauma Informed Network and Resource Center quarterly networking meeting. So yeah, kind of what it says on the tin. Once a quarter, we gather together and look to connect with one another, to share practices, to share strategies, to share a little bit of space. It's just an hour, we join from like 12 to 1. And I know for me, it goes quickly. So, yeah, I want to welcome you in and thank you for carving out a little bit of time. We have been for the last, couple sessions that we've had so far this year. I mean, I can't believe it's the end of July already. We have been really focusing on wellness specifically like in organizations and the workplace, right? So we've had One session, our first session, we talked with folks who are leaders, like C-suite leaders, so a CFO, a CEO. We were talking with them around sort of visions and purpose and starting wellness practices in organizations. And then last time we met, we talked with folks who are in like mid-level management positions and what their experience was or is of taking some of these initiatives and translating them to folks that they're working with and maybe supervising. And today we have the honor of talking with folks who are doing direct service and direct work in different organizations. So you'll hear more from them soon. I'm going to introduce them in a minute. But first, let's do a little grounding practice to gather us together. I like to do something that also involves some movement. So I think I'm going to ask us to do two things. Invitation, always challenge by choice. Whatever part of this you want to do or don't want to do is okay with me. So an invitation to take a big inhale and like make your arms as big as you can. Stretching your fingers out, reaching them to the farthest point. See if you can feel just like the tippy tips of your fingers. And then as you exhale, you can drop them down. You can maybe rain your fingertips down a little bit. And it's so cool to watch people do this, but it also feels really good in our necks to not look at the screen. So this time I want to invite you to like look up instead of out as you inhale, and then rain your fingers down or just drop your arms as you exhale in a way that feels good. And then I think I did this last time, but let's do it one more time. A very shortened version of something that I learned from a Tai Chi teacher. I'm going to invite you to reach behind you and invite something from your background that you want to bring into the space, your experience, something from your day, just something from the past. And bring that in and hold it in your heart. And then reach behind you again. And this time you're going to bring in an intention that you want to bring into this space. How do you want to show up and be, and bring that to your heart? And then when you're ready, you can release that. Send it out into the space, send it out. Whatever will happen will happen. For me, it's a bit about like, oh, I have this intention and now I'm going to release to like whatever is gonna happen. So thanks for joining me in that little breathing activity a bit. All right, I'm gonna just peek at our agenda here and get into inviting our panelists. So yeah, as I mentioned today, we are going to talk about how some of these wellness initiatives, these practices, these big strategies we try to implement in organizations to try to care for one another and ourselves, what some of them might really look and feel like in practice in our demanding trauma-informed environments, right? So I want to introduce our panelists, and I want to say, I was really excited to read each of their bios. Each of you are really remarkable humans that cannot be encapsulated with a bio. I'm going to read a shortened version of what you sent me, and we're going to send your longer bios out to everyone afterwards, like we do with our notes. And I will invite you to, if there's something I missed that you want to add when we pass the question to you, like please feel comfortable to do that. So yeah, first I want to welcome in Kaveen Bartlett. Kaveen is the Director of Family Peer Services at Family Ties of Westchester, where she supervises staff across 4 community resource centers. She also coordinates the Parent Skills Coaching Group, aiming to reduce isolation and empower parents with new skills. Driven by a passion for building strong communities by supporting families, Kaveen brings both professional expertise and lived experience as a mother of 3 to her work. Welcome. And Adiba Chowdhury, welcome Adiba. Adiba is a senior program manager at the South Asian Council for Social Services. She oversees a wide range of programs designed to enhance the well-being of older adults and families in the community. Her work involves everything from direct case management for critical benefits and group counseling to organizing community building events and educational programs. Welcome, Adiba. And finally, Lenny. Lenny, is it Bass or Bass? I'm just realizing I didn't check with you before we started.
It's Bass,
Bass, okay.
but I like bass.
Okay. So Lenny works in the field of restorative justice with the family of Woodstock. After a 3-decade career in the film industry, he was inspired to pursue a more meaningful path focused on unarmed crisis response and community support. This led to a significant career change and a new course of study. And for the past 2 years, he's found deeply fulfilling work with his compassionate team. So welcome, friends. Thank you so much for being here. Again, feel free to correct anything about your bio or add anything that you want to add when I pass you the mic, but I want to get into it. So, like I said, we heard from leadership, we heard from supervisors. We really want to chat with you and hear, assuming there have been some of these wellness initiatives, implementation strategies happening in your workplaces and specifically to help support the staff in your workplaces. We're wondering, how have these initiatives impacted the overall work atmosphere? So what does employee wellness really look and feel like on a daily basis from your perspective? And Lenny, I would love to start with you if you're up for it.
Sure. This is actually a great question because coming from the film industry, being in the film industry for 30 years, where there really was no incentive for wellness with the employees or anyone on staff. For me, coming to the 180 program, Family Woodstock, working with Dana Katz, my supervisor, I'm constantly checking to see if or they're constantly checking, I should say. Let me rephrase that. They're constantly checking to see if I'm okay, right? So I've been doing this 2 years now. We have a case conference where we meet as a team twice a month, and then we talk about like whatever's happening in our lives and in our roles, and they create an atmosphere that is completely safe, and we're allowed to be vulnerable. And I have to say, there's constant encouragement for who we are. I might answer every one of the questions in this one answer, but it just feels like it speaks to all of it,
Yeah.
because they are constantly asking me if I'm okay and how much time do I need. And I think I'm somewhat suspicious occasionally, like, do you really care about me? And
Right.
they constantly come back with like 100%. I might have had this conversation 2 days ago with my supervisor, and they completely care about me. And what that means for me going forward is that it transfers to how I work with people, because I'm being cared for, and my feelings are being acknowledged, who I am is being acknowledged constantly. Then I'm able to transfer that going forward.
Thanks, Lenny. Yeah, I really appreciating you kicking us off, and just a couple of things that I was hearing in that, right, are this idea of being checked with, consistently, not just like a one-time thing, but there's consistent check-ins that are planned, but then on top of that, you're pretty consistently asked like how you're doing, and there's genuine curiosity there. And yeah, hearing also like you came from working in a field, working in an industry that was really explicitly not set up to necessarily care for for the employees, right? So big shift. Yeah. Thanks for kicking us off. And
Yeah, and I just
Kavina, I'd love
also want to
yeah.
add, we also do a supervision twice a month, I believe. So I have a supervision and we have case conferences. So there's constant check-in about how we're doing as people.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Kavina, I'd love to bring you in and ask you the same question. Yeah, how these initiatives have impacted the overall work atmosphere. What does employee wellness look like and feel like for you on a daily basis?
Thank you. Hopefully you can hear me well. So I appreciated what Lenny just shared. You know, two practical things I would say I'd like to tease out that we've been practicing that also personally benefit me, because I think, especially as a supervisor, you can do a lot of things that seem to benefit other people, other staff, even the families that you serve, but not really benefiting me. So these two things I'll point out as being mutually beneficial. And that is like the peer supervision. We have a weekly peer supervision time, separate and apart from individual peer supervision with your supervisor, where people are collaboratively supporting each other, you know, sharing their strategy, sharing resources, as well as their concerns, and sitting in and being a part of that, as well as facilitating it, helps to keep it fresh for me. Also, because of some of our staff are not all in the same location. So that really gets us an opportunity to get together. And then we have really aimed at having like our all staff trainings once a month in person when we can. And just we feel like being able to be with each other, you know, give a hug now and then is really, really important for all of us. And I would say that one thing we started practicing a few years ago, self-care Fridays. So the last Friday of the month, at 2 o'clock, everything is shutting down. And so from the top down, you know, everyone is not sending emails during that time. And I find that this is really helpful because we can tell each other to take care of ourselves all the time, but we know that um, some of us are just not able to practice that. And just putting, I think, our money where our mouth is as an organization to say, here are a few hours a month for you to do this on work time, really has benefited, because I think at first I started out, to be honest with you, like grocery shopping during that time. And I realized this is not self-care. Like, and I think it was right in 2020 when maybe they were still packing our bags here in Westchester, but then that changed. And I was like, this is not relaxing. And I found myself becoming more and more intentional about planning for that time. And I see our staff working towards that. It's also the end of the month when things are due. So I really feel like it's helped us level up with getting our work done, but it's something to really look forward to as an organization. And as I said, it goes for everyone. It's not just for the staff in the resource centers, it's for administrative staff too. So they have to model it. And I think that's really been really good to see, you know, something that everyone gets to access. So those are, I think, two things in addition to what Lenny, I like that he's also practicing the same things. I really feel like it really helped us.
Yeah, thank you so much for those specific examples too. And a thread that I'm hearing, and part of what you share too, is this, you know, opportunity. Well, in both of you too, this opportunity to get to know one another more, right? When you are actually able to build relationship by knowing what's going on in one another's lives a bit in a way that works for everyone, right? And in your work lives, that opportunity to build community gives you that relational juice to be able to know when to take a break and to support one another in taking a break. Yeah, and this other piece around this collective care, right? We know that in some ways self-care by itself is a myth. We need the collective. We need one another to take care of ourselves, and we need one another to support the care for each other as well. And you know, there's all this great research about how like 4-day work weeks, for instance, don't really work if people don't do the same day off, right? So this idea of you all taking this break together, and you really naming like it matters that we do it together, and even saying like it took practice for you to actually use that day to care for yourself, use that time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Adiba, would love to hear from you. Same question, just wondering how these initiatives have impacted you. What does it feel like on a daily basis?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I can share my professional and personal both experiences. I will go with my personal first, then I'll go to my professional field. Um, I'm a mother of 3 children, 3 boys, kid, preteen, and the teen. My father, he is elderly. He has cardiac problem. He is a COPD patient. My mom recently hospitalized last 2 weeks. So much going on in the house. But I am trying to manage my time. I have a very supportive family. So the things that I used to do, I cannot do it like before, but what I'm trying to do, make some time for myself that makes me happy and makes me feel relaxed. So even if a cup of coffee in the evening time, especially on a Sunday evening, I manage to go out and do it. I sit down in a cafe for maybe hour, 2 hour, and then when I feel relieved, I come home. I sometimes I go for little shopping, and I love gardening. So
Mm,
yeah, every evening, regardless how tired I am, I make sure that I water the plant, I take care of them. It makes me
mm,
feel happy, makes me feel relaxed. That's the my house part. And I'm been thankful to my family also. When
mm,
I say family, it's my side and my husband's sides of the family. They both are very supportive. They are calling and checking on me if I need any help, if I need anything need to cook for the kids. So they are actually delivering a lot of things for me. They're just I'm very thankful. And for the job, I think uh, it changed a little bit. Right now, whatever the situation is going on, it created a lot of anxiety, a lot of fears in people's mind.
mm,
I worked with a very vulnerable community. I have clients who has mixed immigration background. Maybe
mm,
parents are undocumented, but kids are born here. So some of them, the benefits, it's really, really important for them. They were very much in fear. They are fearful that whether they should apply, they should get it. There were, like so many things are going on. Even though the elderly population we deal with, I'm in charge of a senior center also. So even though the seniors are citizen, but they were also in a lot of fears that what's going to happen
mm,
because their building and continuously being raided by ICE. So it created
mm,
a lot of anxiety in them. So it had little bit impact on us because we all are human. End of the day, it doesn't matter, not maybe directly me, but somebody is being affected. You're continuously hearing this thing from people. So we try to stay with our client, try to comfort them. But what
mm,
made us feel comfortable, was a great help having supervision twice a week.
mm,
Every Friday, bi-weekly, we have supervision, and we have supervision weekly with my director from Family Support Services. So around 2:30, 3 o'clock, religiously we meet. We talk about so many issues that we are facing and how to take care of our health as well, our
yeah,
mental health, right? And
mm,
we also have monthly meeting with our ED, executive director. So she makes sure that we are comfortable with this environment, and it's not affecting us mentally, our emotional health as well. And also, what I want to share, I have a very, very healthy environment here because even though we are not, we have a very big lunchroom here. So we all sit together, we laugh and joke. Actually, that time is like only our time. So we talk about anything that makes us laugh, makes us feel comfortable. And the
mm,
openness and the
mm,
friendly environment, that is also another thing that makes you to come back to work every day. You don't
mm,
feel tired, you don't feel pushed to come to work, you willingly
mm.
come to work because you know that you are in the safe place.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, appreciating this, Adiba. Thank you so much. Yeah, and
Thank you for listening.
yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. It was a pleasure hearing, these different contexts where you're experiencing wellness and how different folks are contributing to your overall holistic experience of wellness, right? And some of what I am hearing you share about your workplace and what's really helpful is again, a thread that we've just heard from Kaveen and Lenny as well. This connection and care with supervisors who care, right?
Yeah.
And having this set time, right? You're meeting with you're having supervision twice a week, and also carved out time with leadership, where they're trying to check in and trying to see like how can we mitigate any of the mental health concerns and the stress. And yeah, and hearing that you're also doing all this in the context of like working with folks who are feeling a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety at the moment. And so really upping, and all you've got going on personally, right? So really upping, upping that care. Yeah. So grateful to you for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So friends, I want to ask you one more question. I know we sent you like 3 or 4 questions. So if there's pieces of something else you want to, loop in, that's totally fine. But I want to ask you this last question around can you think of something that your supervisor or your organization could consider adding that would further support staff wellness? If you've just got like an out of the box idea, even if it's something that like maybe, for whatever logistical reason, you don't think it would work at your organization, but you think it would be helpful, for folks in other organizations, and you just kind of want to seed that idea out there. So what is one thing your supervisor or organization could consider adding to further support staff wellness? Maybe something that hasn't been considered before. So, Lenny, I'd love to start with you again if you're ready, and I'll put that question in the chat too. What do you think, Lenny?
Well, I would say that my supervisor and team like do a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of meets around art. There's a lot of meets around what you would call holistic ideas. So it feels like they're open to everything. I'm gonna just throw that out, like they're not lacking in any way. I guess maybe we could do more, more grounding exercises before a lot of the meets, because we already create such a space that allows people to be vulnerable. It is acknowledged already. So if there was one thing, maybe, we're closing our eyes and we're breathing together, or we're setting the intention before the meet that this is a moment to see how you feel within yourself, and do you feel safe right now? Are you feeling like you're able to be vulnerable? Because we come in with so many different feelings in that space. And I know sometimes it's hard, like if you're coming in with anxieties, or you have your own bit of depression, or you have your own frustration, like how to come into the space.
Yeah, it gives everyone like a doorway to walk through together, right? Yeah.
But I want to say we do that, like the exercises we do allow for that. But like just giving the intention first, so that people are aware that we're transitioning into this.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Lenny. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, we're adding an idea where we do this thing already, and also we could just bolster it a little bit. Maybe if it's like, we've got a plan, we're going to do it every time. Yeah. So really hearing that you're really happy with a lot of the ways that things are going, and maybe this is just one way it could, get 1% better or something. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Kaveen, how about for you? Anything that could further support staff wellness? Maybe something that hasn't been considered?
Yeah. And I know I'm hearing that this has been considered by other organizations. I'm going to speak transparently. I think for us at Family Ties, I think the concept of even direct supervision, having that regularly, is relatively new for us as a smaller organization, coming into the wider peer support world. And I think just prioritizing that is one of the things that I think I've personally recognized I have to do, and continue to encourage for us to do more. And I think just having a space where you can process and think out loud without feeling like you're raising a red flag all the time.
Mm,
Um, and if you're in middle management, I think you kind of know what this feels like. It's like, you want to talk with maybe another supervisor. One thing we recently started, which some could consider if you don't have it, is a sort of a peer supervision among supervisors, where you're not meeting because there's a crisis. There's an agenda that you bring to the table there to talk about, whether it be onboarding. That's one of the topics that we've been struggling with, finding
yeah.
staff that can meet the professional as well as lived experience, those two sweet spots. So I think it's whatever it is, as supervisors being able to talk, even if you have various programs in your organization, and making that a priority apart from your normal stuff.
Mm,
I think that's
yeah.
really two things where you just kind of talk and you can have a space where you can clarify things that maybe get sent an email that you didn't mean, in tones,
Yeah.
and to be able to do that at a level that is not quite administrative and not quite peer if that's necessary too.
Yeah. Yeah. Finding spaces and places and ways to carve out more of these conversations that are not formal and are taking it off of like email or Slack or whatever chatting situation folks are using, right? So that you can have those real time conversations, you can catch tone, you can ask questions, and be able to frame things as like, I'm not trying to raise a red flag. I'm just wanting to talk something out. Yeah. Yeah. More spaces for that. And yeah, and growth in that supervision, right? That hearing that that's like a growth edge for you while you're doing it. And there's more to be done there. Yeah. Thanks, Kaveen. Yeah. Adiba, would love to bring your voice into this space for this last question. Yeah.
Mhm. Some of our programs are yoga, meditation, flamenco, Zumba, and chair yoga. So I think it would be great to add to our life end of the day before we go home, maybe just for 1 hour, to have any of the activity just for ourselves before
Mm,
we close the office. We
mm.
do it, we go home happy, relaxed, and leave everything in the office. You know,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so cool to hear. I'm reflecting too on part of what Lenny shared, this idea of like having, you know, something to begin, the intention setting, the grounding exercise, right? And also this idea of how do we exit a space? How do we leave things? And sometimes having something ritualized or having a way to mark the end of something can help us leave work where it needs to be and to bring our intentions into a new space, right? So, yeah, just building some of these intentional spaces and practices could be a powerful way. Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Adiba. Yeah. Thank you, all three panelists. I want to talk to you for so much longer than we are going to talk to you right now. Yeah, I really hope that we get opportunities to connect more after this session. We are gonna close out this panelist time and give folks an opportunity to debrief and discuss a little bit in breakouts. I know I've had lots of ideas popping up for me, thinking about work I've had in the past, work I have now, things that I want to try out and implement. And I'm guessing a lot of folks listening right now are feeling that kind of percolation of ideas. So folks, we want to offer you an opportunity to head out into a breakout session and chat with others. We're going to put some questions in the chat for you to consider, and you're going to have someone from TNRC with you to help hold that conversation. So really wondering, did you hear any concrete actions or strategies that you want to try or have ideas based on what our panelists shared? And do you have any questions for the panelists? We might not have time to ask them of the panelists live right now, but we can send them out later. So we're going to put those questions in the chat. And yeah, are we good to open up breakout rooms?
Yep, I can open them up.
All right, friends, we will see you back in about 10 to 12 minutes. Hi, all. Welcome back.
Thanks, Gwen.
Mhm. Welcome in, welcome in. All right, just giving folks these 10 more seconds, you know, sometimes some of the groups ended up being like more lopsided. So some groups had a really big group and others had a smaller group. So we wanted to make sure people had space. So we gave you a couple extra minutes there. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. I always am appreciative when people come back after a breakout room because, you know, sometimes we go to the breakout rooms, we're just like, goodbye. I hope
Peace
you,
out.
got to connect with some folks, have some good conversations. We do have just like a couple minutes. I'm curious, were there questions for our panelists or thoughts, any responses that you are up for? You know, of course, speaking for yourself, unless you've got permission, but any responses that you'd like to bring into the space. And you could do that by putting it in the chat, or bonus points if you would like to put up your hand and bring your voice into the space. It's always like a real gift for me when someone is willing to talk actually off mic. So yeah, curious if there's questions or resonances, things you want to share from your breakout room. Awesome, Sue. Thank you. Go for it.
You're welcome. You know, I'm so struck with what I'm hearing is that when we show up authentically, so no matter what the role, you know, so I was hearing certainly when my supervisor is that with me, I was listening to that and what a difference that is making for the direct worker, et cetera. And so it really has given me great pause today of when I show up here, when I show up in that moment, and that how authentically am I showing up so that a real conversation can take place?
Yes, thank you. Really appreciating that share. Thanks, Sue. Kaveen, yeah.
So one thing that Dr. Shauna Aarons Cook just mentioned in our small group, which I told her I have to verify, so she gave me homework, which is great, was whether we have some of the practices that we talked about in writing. And I know we do more memos, but is some of this built into even our employee handbook or written somewhere, so that we're not only held accountable, but it's, you know, it's obvious to staff, new staff, and yeah. So that was a great takeaway I think I have.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Yeah, it reminds me of, you know, sometimes when something really bad or troubling happens in a workplace, we're quick to document a policy around it, right? And we can be a little less quick to document our good practices, to document what's working well, to document those things that are also like supporting the culture that we want to build. So yeah, let alone like having that transparency, right? That one of those core values of trauma-informed practice is that transparency. And for a lot of folks that might be being able to like look at it on paper, right? And be able to see. So yeah, appreciating that. Thank you. We've got another couple minutes. Anyone? Yeah, got something to share, a question, something that they're taking with them from this time.
I have so many takeaways, but in this moment, Jenna, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but Jenna shared about Win Friday that you all practice, and that, like I said, I have a lot of things that I'm walking away with, but that's the most recent thought that I'm like, oh, how can we work with that?
Yeah. Jenna, do you want to share what Win Friday is?
Okay, Gwen, I think you could share about that too. Of course. Well, it really just stands for what I need. So what I need Friday, meaning that it's a work day, right? But we all need sometimes that opportunity to really engage in deep thinking or to dig into a project without being interrupted by meetings. So what maybe started as this thought of like, oh, we'll just have no meeting Fridays, really became more of the what I need. Because sometimes what we need is to get together as a group in a meeting and work on a project together for a few hours. And that's okay. It's not banned to have a meeting. But if what you need is to just go for a walk, because that's where you do your best thinking, and you want to just like mull over something, that's okay too. And so it's just giving that flexibility of Fridays are kind of left open unless there's an agreement of yes, we're coming together for a specific purpose because this is what we want to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jenna. Appreciate it. Kaveen, yeah, last
Just
thoughts
a
here.
follow-up question for you, Jenna. How do you roll that out in terms of, and is that every Friday? And how, like, are people announcing this is what I'm doing? You know, like how do you do it?
It probably looks different for every single team, what it looks like. And I will say the rollout has been slow, right? Of like, here's the idea, let's test it, let's play with it, let's kind of see how it works. Because it's not, I mean, there are challenges that come, but no, there's no check-in of like, oh, you have to tell me what you did during that time, or I need to know where you were. And maybe that's just because that's what works for us and the type of work we do at our organization. Or maybe that would work other places too. But I think if you can think about it as almost a pilot of if you want to try this, what would it look like for you? And really bringing lots of voices to be part of the discussion of even thinking about how to roll it out, because everyone's going to have a different idea of what the challenges might be.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. And I saw Bukam put mini pilot. Great. And establish shared agreement and understanding. Yeah. And resources from Jody. Gosh, friends, it's 12:59. Can't believe it. Want to honor you come into this space. I just put some links in the chat. There's a lot. Maybe you want to copy and paste them or save the chat. There's still some spots for the conference open, very few. So if you haven't registered for the Trauma Informed Networking and Resource Conference in October, would love to see you there. Thank you so much to our panelists, Adiba, Kaveen, Lenny. Thank you so much. We learned a lot. It was so amazing to just hear from you and hear your experiences. And thank you all for joining the space today. Yeah,